Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Goalpost Podcast, episode number 4, I believe it is now. Um, Again, joined today by our good friends Darius and Lee. How are we, guys?
Yeah,
Good,
I'm alright.
thank you.
On today's episode, it's just going to be a general chit chat around basically this week's sort of events that's happened in football. So we're going to start with the Ballon d'Or, and then move over to the Premier League, the results that happened this week, and the fixtures this weekend. Um, yeah, so if we get straight into it, guys, Ballon d'Or, where do we start? Do we start with the Copper Trophy? And what a controversial piece of shit that was. Excuse my language.
Can do. Yeah.
Um, let's kill it right off the back. How are we feeling about Gavi winning the Copper Trophy?
Um, I don't know. I never really watched much of Barcelona last season. Obviously, they got knocked out of the Champions League quite early. Um, there was a lot of people probably rightly saying that it probably should have been Jude Bellingham, but he finished about fourth, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit. I think didn't Pedri win it the year before as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
in them two over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's English bias or it must be English bias that we think Jude Bellingham should be winning it. Um, Obviously, like you said, Lee, you haven't watched a lot of Barcelona. I personally haven't watched a lot of Barcelona. So I can't really comment whether he deserves it or not. But from watching Jude Bellingham's performances recently, and in the Champions League last year and this year, I think how's he only come fourth? I think it's a bit of a travesty, really. Do you know what? Is it French football bias towards um Spanish and French players instead of the old English people, but who knows? Darius, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, I don't think Gavi deserved to win the award over a few of the people that were in and around him. I think Camavinga, Musiala, and Bellingham all finishing below him probably had more of an impact. I'm a bit like Lee that I'm sort of not really aware of sort of La Liga or sort of watch him all the time. You know, I've heard a lot of good things about him, Gavi, the way he plays, but I mean, I've seen the way that Camavinga's performed in the Champions League. Musiala and Bellingham. I think they all deserve to be above him. You know, you could even make a case for Saka being higher up the list and potentially even winning it because he's been very good for Arsenal over the past couple of years. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have minded any one of them four that I've said winning it. I don't think Gavi should have been the one that did win it, but that's the way it is. And there's always been a thing where it's suggested about the Ballon d'Or and these awards lacking the credibility and all of that. And Yeah, a lot of people will disagree, but a lot of people may agree that Gavi should have won it. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the top 10 list here, and I'm thinking, how many of these players are going to become big ballers? Because obviously you've
mm,
seen the likes of, off the top of my head, Renato Sanchez. He won it a few years ago.
yeah,
Obviously he's starting to come come good now. He's playing at PSG now. He
yeah,
won the league for Lille in Ligue 1, which was, you know, a very hard thing to do. But that Copper Copper winners don't really. I'm trying to think of the last player who's really stood out and who's won it. Um, I mean, has Mbappe? Oh, probably should
I
know
think
this.
Mbappe did win it. I think
Yeah,
Raheem
yeah.
Sterling won it. I remember that, or he won something similar.
Did
Um,
Haaland win it? I'm sure. Did he win it or not, Haaland?
have a
I
quick look. Technical difficulties here.
I mean, there are some good names in there.
There are.
Yeah.
You know, Josko Gvardiol for Leipzig. Good young defender, has had links with Chelsea and other top teams. You know, I think
He's
he'll be
rapid,
one.
isn't he?
Yeah, very quick. Solid at the back as well. You know, I think we all know Saka's an established player by now. I think the same with Jude Bellingham. They're both established. You know, they play effectively week in, week out for their clubs. Wirtz and Adeyemi are decent as well. Both play in the Bundesliga as well, I believe. Young talents. And yeah, I think Nuno Mendes had a good season with PSG.
Yeah, he's a good left back. He is.
Was he on loan and then they signed him permanently, or
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm pretty sure.
I think
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he looks like a good left back. I can't.
Um,
I mean, yeah, go on, Will.
No, I was just going to say the Copper Trophy was introduced in 2018 by FIFA, not FIFA, France Football, sorry, and
Yeah.
Mbappe was the first person to win it.
Okay.
Then it was De Ligt,
Yep.
and then it was postponed due to COVID, and then it was Pedri and now Gavi.
Oh.
So they're the Copper
Winners.
Trophy winners, but obviously I think you had Golden Boy
Yeah,
beforehand.
that was it.
Yeah.
We'll just have a quick look at Golden Boy winners.
I think Balotelli, Sterling, off the top of my head.
Why not?
Mario
Yeah, cool.
Götze.
I don't know why they just didn't keep it as the same
Yeah,
name.
same
Really,
thing.
I don't know. They've rebranded it. Why I don't know. And I mean, they should have had an award in what was it, 2020 when COVID was going on. They should have definitely had that because they were still playing. Do you know what I mean? You know, there was a break, but they were still playing.
All right.
So
I've got a list here. It's from 2003 onwards, I'm hoping. So 2003 was Raphael van der Vaart. What a baller.
yeah,
Big baller. Bloody hell. 2004 was Rooney. Success, obviously. 2005, Lionel Messi. 2006, Cesc Fabregas, who I think is underrated.
yeah.
2007, Sergio Aguero, Lee's top man.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, was he?
2008, this is where it starts to go a bit whiffy. Anderson.
Oh,
Yeah. 2009, Alexander Pato.
he was all. He was all right. It wasn't.
2010, Lee, you're right again. Mario Balotelli. 2011, Mario Götze.
Yeah.
2012, Isco. He was class, weren't he, as well, man?
He was, yeah.
2 years ago, he was balling for Real Madrid.
He was Malaga as well, man. Oh. 2013, Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
2014, Razzle Dazzle, Raheem Sterling. 2015, Tony Marshall. 2016, Renato Sanchez. And then it says 2017, Kylian Mbappe, and then I guess Copper Trophy, Kylian Mbappe again. So Holland hasn't actually won it, and he won't win it because he's too old now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Is it? I guess it's for players that are 21 years of age and younger. Then
Yeah, it is.
Assume there are a couple of 21-year-olds. Well, Saka is the only 21-year-old, I think, in that top 10. So yeah, I mean, I think Haaland should have won it a couple of years ago, but
do you know who I was surprised to see off that list? Dele Alli.
Yeah, suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He would have been about 2015, 16.
yeah. Who won that then?
Renato Sanchez, though,
yeah.
he dominated the Euros, to be fair, didn't he? Not his first tournament, about 18.
He did, to be fair. Yeah, it was
But Dele,
2015.
but Dele Alli did, he did dominate the Prem in them couple of years. He was very good.
So good, man. Yeah, I guess so. Renato Sanchez, I mean, in the period where he probably would have won it, I'm going off the top of my head here. 2015, Anthony Martial. 2016, like you said, Renato Sanchez, Euros, and in 2017, Mbappe. So, yeah, probably. Right. So we've discussed Copper Trophy and what sham it was. Shall we go over to the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
I take it we are unanimously agree with Karim Benzema winning it,
Yeah.
or do we not?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I do agree. I was looking at it before, and I think I do agree with him winning it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're smiling, Lee.
I don't think he was the best player in the world, but I think he should have won it.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you. He had a great season, didn't he? Really, I mean,
yeah.
he capped off really an era at Real Madrid that's been dominated by Ronaldo and Bale, and now he's won the main prize. He's probably deserved to win. What are we thinking of the top three then? Sadio Mane and Kevin De Bruyne as well. We think De Bruyne should be that high?
Yeah, I do. I think he dragged us at times throughout the season, and he always scored in the big games, and he was very unlucky not to be in the Champions League final. So I'd probably say the top three is pretty much right, except I'd have Lewandowski in there over Sadio Mane. But I think that's just a personal preference. He scored 50 goals last season, so
True, but Mane won what, 3 trophies, didn't he?
two. FA
3.
Cup, EFL.
African nations as well, man.
Oh, he did win the. I forgot about that. Yeah. I did forget. That's probably he probably is why he's in the top three actually.
You know what? I saw a little video today that Mane, and it's true because Mane's got the weight of his nation, like Messi did, like James Rodriguez did, all on this World Cup. Man, it's going to be interesting to see how he does in Qatar. What we saying with Salah at number 5? Do we think that's too high or not? So I'm looking at it, and maybe it's recency bias, but since the turn of the year, since the African Cup of Nations, he's been nowhere near his best. And number 5 in the world, I think. I'm looking at Vinicius Junior, man, and think maybe he
Yeah,
could be higher.
or even Thibaut Courtois. I think he was
Yeah,
right in when he was saying he was interviewed one after the awards and he was moaning that he's a goalkeeper, so he's never got any chance. I think he's probably right because apart from Karim Benzema, he probably was Real Madrid's best player,
yeah.
and especially in the final, he made like 9 saves. He made loads of saves in the semi against City, and he was just immense all throughout the Champions League campaign, and probably deserved to be higher than I think he finished 8th.
7th.
7.
Yeah.
I'd have taken out Mane and put Courtois up there in the top 3 because he had one of the best goalkeeping performance you'll see in a final from in the Champions League. The way that he effectively won them the game with the amount of stops that he made, and he'd been solid throughout the whole season. But it's always, there's a thing of like determining what you have to do to win that Ballon d'Or award. Is it the amount of goals you score? Is it the amount of trophies you win? It sort of changes every year, really, in terms of the sort of criteria for it.
Well, it's definitely a strike. It's definitely a striker's trophy, isn't it? Let's be realistic here.
But that you could, in the top 10, look how many attacking players there are in the top 10. It must be at least 8% of them.
99.9% of it is. It's only Courtois that isn't really, who isn't
Yeah,
an attacking player. I mean, Modric obviously a midfielder, but
and same with Bruyne.
yeah, same with KDB. But again, you know, they both go forward. They both get goals. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe you two are dissing Mane like that, man. Like, oh, it's been so pivotal for Liverpool last season, and for Senegal, obviously. Um,
I'd definitely have him over Salah, like definitely above Salah,
Yeah.
and I think he was. I think the Ballon d'Or, the award now, it's not looking at how you've done in a calendar year anymore. It's how
no,
you've done
yeah,
over a
season.
season. So the season obviously just gone. Mane was a better player than Salah, in my opinion. But I just think that Courtois should have been probably in the top three, and I mean De Bruyne is the best midfielder in the world, and that's clear as day. So
I think Benzema winning this has caused a bit of a stir. I've seen a few debates online on Twitter mainly.
mm,
Obviously, the Ballon d'Or for the last 20 years has been dominated by Ronaldo and Messi, the two goats.
yeah,
Who I'm going to throw this out there. Who would you say is the next of that period, the next best striker slash attacking player? Would you say who didn't win the Ballon d'Or or get
Oh,
the Palm
during the
deserve?
period of Messi and
Yeah,
Luis
it's
Suarez.
probably got to be Robert Lewandowski.
Dosky as well. Yeah,
um, Especially 2020. He would have won it in 2020, but they
Yeah,
cancelled the awards for some bizarre reason.
fucking
that
sham, weren't it?
they gave him some. They gave him some other award at
Yeah.
when Messi won it. They gave him an award, and then they gave him the best attacker award at this year's Ballon d'Or. So I mean, that doesn't really make any sense. Yes, he did deserve to win it, but I'd probably say over the past 10 years, Suarez has probably been the third best player in the world, I'd say, behind Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, I know he's played with Messi in that Barcelona team, so obviously it's going to be difficult for him to win it, but I think he's probably the player that deserved to potentially win it if it wasn't, them two. Yeah.
Mate, his stats are insane as well.
Mm,
Honestly, his days at Liverpool as well. Always playing
yeah.
against Norwich and getting like 10 goals against them. Like,
And sublime goals against Norwich as
yeah.
well, every
But
time.
it was a proper street footballer, but he was so great as well. Like, he had the
Mm.
balance of both, didn't he? Um, Obviously, I think his career's been marred by obviously the incidents that he's been involved with, I'd say. But Liverpool fans won't want you to remember that sort of stuff. Um, so if we're going up the list, obviously Phil Foden, 20 coming in at 22 with Bernardo Silva. Lee, do you think those two they fell short behind Harry Kane? Do you think they deserve to finish above Harry Kane or
Um, well, Harry Kane wasn't at his
he wasn't at his best
supreme
last season,
best
was he? No.
last season. No. Bernardo Silva had a great season last season. So did Foden. To be fair, Foden, I think Foden would have. He's gonna show how good he could have been last season because we've actually got a striker now. Because a lot of the time Foden was playing as a false nine. But yeah, it's 22nd. I'm not too particularly bothered, but it's nice.
Um, Obviously, I did have a thought. I can't remember what it was. Darius, she was right in saying Flahovic in at 17. Like,
Yeah.
make that fucking make sense. Oh,
Oh,
these, mate. Did you see that? Bogdan gets a vote in this.
d- d-
Bogdan gets a vote in this. Apparently, he's got some alliance with another country, and he basically says he's a football journalist or something like that. I don't know how true it is, but I believe it is. I think he's talked about it before, but apparently Bogdan gets a vote in the Ballon d'Or rankings.
Fair enough.
And he's probably put fucking Dusan Vlahovic at number 17. Joking. I don't mean to disrespect Fogden.
I don't think the journalists that vote though. I think it only counts to probably about 5% of the overall votes. I mean, you know, you still get. I mean, if he's, you know, I don't know whether that's true or not. If he does have a vote, then I mean, great for him. He must, you know, I don't know who he probably chooses. You know, I think he probably chooses Messi or, you know, someone, you know, one of the best players in the world. Probably not Vlahovic will.
I don't know. He's a bit of an odd fella, isn't he? I'm joking. I need to stop. Why? Like he's going to see this anyway. It's fine.
Opinions from Will.
Yeah. Sebastian Haller at number 13. What are we saying about that one? Are we comfortable with that? Because obviously he had a great season at Ajax.
Yeah.
And that's it. But obviously he's going through traumatic time at the minute.
Yeah.
With his illness. Yeah, I think he'd be pleased with that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. It's what it is. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I look at this list and I look at Ballon d'Ors and I think, well, who cares? Honestly, who really cares? It's an individual award for a team game.
Exactly.
And it lost its spark when the GOATs stopped rivaling each other. It's when that prick moved to Juventus. That's when it lost its spark. The one about Ronaldo, Darius, if you didn't know. No.
Yes.
Shouldn't have left Real Madrid, man. That was the battle of the century. You've got no Chelsea players in there, Darius. In the top 25.
Well, I think Rudiger's probably the only one.
Oh yeah, Rudiger. Sorry.
25, yeah, Chelsea and obviously Real Madrid now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I agree with that he should be in a top 30 because he was very, very solid last season. Probably the best season of football that he's played.
Yeah.
And that's what got him the move to Real Madrid. So yeah, I can understand why he's the only one in there from a Chelsea point of view. But yeah, if you see him now at Real Madrid, then you know it means that we don't have any players technically at the club that are in the top 30. But like you said, Will, I don't think any of the players are really going to care unless they're number one, are they? And there's only one player that's number one, and that's Karim Benzema.
Big Karim. Sorry to go back on this. Obviously, Lee mentioned Courtois' comments earlier. Darius, obviously, he's an ex-Chelsea player, and he used to. There's rumours that he was very arrogant around the place. I mean, when he left, did you? There's a lot of animosity. I don't know how to say that word. I'm not great. That's it. Come on, you build me up. You don't knock me down, guys. I appreciate that. Is there still that animosity? Say it again, please.
Animosity.
There we go. Is there still that feeling between him and Chelsea fans, you reckon?
I think, I mean, when they've come to play at Stamford Bridge, well, in, you know, seasons when he's been at Real Madrid, there's a lot of sort of calling him a snake and that type of thing. And there are some fans that still do that. I think he left for Real back 2018, I think. Must have been around then, 2017, 2018. But I don't really have sort of a care towards that anymore. I'm sort of moved on from that. You know, he's a good goalkeeper. He was in the last year of his deal at Chelsea, I believe, and they wanted to make money for him instead of, you know, trying to sign him on for a new deal because he didn't want to accept. So we sold him for 35 million. And yeah, I mean, he is a top goalkeeper. Some fans obviously don't like him. I'm not too bothered. I know that he was one of the top keepers when he was at Chelsea, and obviously at Real Madrid. He's got a top team around him, a great group of players, and he's shown why he's one of the best keepers in the world. So, yeah, I don't think there's any animosity between me and Courtois, even though I don't know the guy, but
I'm gonna say between you.
yeah, but there's a lot of Chelsea fans that still call him a snake and all of this. But yeah,
I'd love to see that interaction. I would. I'd love to see you square up to 6'7" Courtois. But oi.
Yeah, I'm not going to have a problem with him. Yeah, like I said, I don't
That would
have.
be funny.
Oh,
right.
he's a good player.
End it on that. Should we move on to results that are happening right now and midweek in the Premier League? If we have a quick goosey gander at Premier League.
Leicester are winning a game of football.
You're joking.
Yeah,
Robin
1-0 against Leeds. And Fulham are winning as well.
So we run through the games. Brighton are still winless with their new manager.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they'll do a Watford and get rid soon, or?
No, I don't think they will, because I don't think they've actually been that bad. Like, in his first game, they drew Liverpool, didn't they?
At Anfield as well, yeah.
And in the games since, there's a ridiculous stat. They've had 40 or 50 odd shots in the game since. They've not scored. They've had an XG of about 4.5. And in that game last night, I think they had, or Tuesday night, sorry, they had 19 shots again, 71% possession. Like, they're dominating teams and they're playing well. It's very similar to the way it was last season under Graham Potter. They're playing well, but they're not scoring goals. So yeah, I don't think they'll rush into a decision.
I mean, it's going to be hard following up from Potter, isn't it, for anyone who come in? If we're looking from a Forest point of view, it's a good point, but is it an opportunity missed, do you reckon, to get through? Because obviously they've got tough games coming up now. I mean, surely, it's away at Brighton, but surely they'd be kicking themselves that they haven't gone out and snatched a 1-0.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sort. Go on, Lee.
No, you got to think most of the Nottingham Forest points or wins will probably come at the City Ground at home. So I don't think it's a bad point, and I think they do need to start picking up some more points. But recently they've drawn 2 out of the last 3. So if they can start turning them into wins, they should be all
right. Palace beat Wolves. Wolves were 1-0 up in that game. Yeah, Wolves are in a bit of a sticky situation now, aren't they? Michael Beale rejected them and decided to stay at QPR. A great decision in the eyes of QPR board and fans. He's been doing well in the Championship this season. Beat Reading. We won't talk about that though. I don't remember the game. I was a bit too drunk. Wolves are in a situation now where could they go down? Is there a possibility they go down this season?
Yeah, well, they don't look like they know who they're going to get as a manager. Like the other week, it was Nuno Santo, then it was Julian Lopetegui, and then it was Michael Beale, and now I don't know who's the next one to get it.
They've sticked with their caretaker manager till the end of the season.
Are they?
I've read, yeah.
Ooh.
That
But it's
might
not
be.
but they haven't had. The thing with that, they haven't had a bounce. They beat Nottingham Forest at home, but other than that, he got sacked after the City game, did he?
Chelsea was his first game, I think.
Oh, so he got sacked after West Ham, that was it. He lost to Chelsea, he beat Nottingham Forest, but and then he lost to Palace after going 1-0 up. So it's not exactly that inspiring, but
I think it'll be a decision that they'll regret, keeping him on potentially as well caretaker boss, because they definitely do need a new manager. They do need a bit of a lift because they went 1-0 up in that game against Palace, and then Palace turned it around in the second half. And Wolves are a good enough team. Look, they've got some quality players. Probably about 60-70% of the Portuguese squad in there, but they've got a good team. They shouldn't be in a position, I think, that they should be near the bottom of the table, but they're not doing well at the moment. Same with Leicester, shouldn't be near the bottom, but they are. But I think they'll have a difficult season this year, Wolves.
Palace got the win. It was at Selhurst. I mean, what Palace do, isn't it? Really, they lose a few games, win a few more back, and then they survive. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, but
bog standard mid-table.
Yeah, I mean, Zaha's in his last year of his contract, and he scored the winner against Wolves.
Yeah.
Just quick thoughts on Zaha. Do we see him going to a top 6 club? Is he a top 6 player, first of all, or not?
I think if he was 25 and he was in the same situation, they probably would have sold him in the summer for about £50 million. But how old is he now? He's
I think
he's 30.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You might think it's a bit late, but you could obviously see him going to someone like I could see him go to like a Newcastle.
That's what I was thinking as well.
A big signing for the new Saudi owners, like a statement signing, and someone to take them to that next level.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that front three of Isaac, or Wilson, and then Saint Maximin and Zaha. Bloody hell, that'd be frightening. The most inconsistent players in the world. Oh no. But yeah, a good 3 points for Palace, weren't it? Bournemouth lost their unbeaten run to Southampton. I'm not gonna lie, haven't seen any much of these games. I'm just going off.
The cracking header for
Was it
Che Adams? Ball was whipped in and he just flicked it right into the top corner. It was beautiful header.
Love that. Love a good old headed goal. I miss seeing them, man. I need 2 meter Peter on them, or Big Andy Carroll. Oh, wait, he's at Reading. Oh, that's fuck all for us. Obviously, big 3 points for Southampton. The way I'm seeing it at the minute, I think it's going to be between them and Wolves in a relegation battle. Darius, oh no, you're back. You froze there for a minute. Sorry about that. Darius, how are you feeling about Southampton? Obviously, they beat their South Coast rivals, Bournemouth. Do you think it's a chance for them to kick on now, or not?
I think there was sort of discussion whether Hassan Hooter would still be in a job after the West Ham game. Yeah. He got a point, and they were winning the game, and obviously West Ham came back to get a point, but that's a big win for them. I believe that was away from home as well. And it could kick on their season. I think Bournemouth and Fulham are certainly going to be in and around that relegation battle as well. I mean, look, they've started the season off well, and fair play to both Bournemouth and Fulham. They're sort of away from that relegation zone at the moment, but I don't see it being long before they're back in there. You probably give it another 6 to 8 games, and I can see them being in and around that sort of bottom 4, bottom 5. I mean, you could have it, Leicester, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Southampton, Fulham, and Bournemouth. I think them 7
Leeds.
are probably
Villa.
Villa
maybe.
as well.
Yeah,
Sorry, Brad.
maybe them 7 or 8 teams are probably going to be the ones that are sort of battling to stay out of that bottom 3. But yeah, good win for Southampton though.
Are Bournemouth still looking for a manager, or are they stuck with? Have they done a Wolves and stuck with their caretaker? They've got new owners in, haven't they? New American owners. I don't know.
I believe they've stuck with the guy that was taken over from Scott.
Gary O'Neill, I think he's called.
We're so smart. Well done, Lee. You got it. It is Gary O'Neill. We are so educated on these subjects, guys. Oh, come on.
Definitely do our research.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. Yeah, I mean, Gary O'Neill's had a decent start, and obviously they've had new owners come in. It'll be interesting to see what Bournemouth do, whether they get someone in to take over permanently or not. But I don't know. Bournemouth fans should be happy, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Cherries are bouncing, bro. Next game that's been played, Brentford v Chelsea. Darius, do you want to take it away?
Well, it was a bit of a underwhelming performance. I mean, it says it, doesn't it? 0-0, no goals. Brentford, I think, were the better team in the first half. Second half, Chelsea needed to sort of come out of the blocks and do something. And couldn't really put, the ball in the back of the net against a solid Brentford team. They're not an easy team to play, away from home. I think we should have probably got the win. We're a team that's trying to obviously stay in the top 4, progress further. You need to be winning games like that. The one or two good things from the game, obviously, it's another clean sheet. We haven't lost the game, which, is good for Graham Potter and, continuing that sort of streak of, not losing any games, but still 0-0 is very underwhelming. I expected a bit better. But it is what it is at the end of the day. We'll take
I've got a question to you.
Yeah.
Your main man between the sticks, Mendy, has been dropped.
Yeah.
Big Kepa has come in, and he's been doing bloody well.
He has.
Are you surprised by this show of form from Kepa? Do you think it's going to be a matter of time until he makes an error and he goes downhill again, or do you think there's a proper change in him now?
I can see he's got his confidence back, and that might be because the manager has, said, because I think Mendy was injured for a little bit coming back from international duty, and Kepa got the place in the team, obviously being second choice goalkeeper, and he's been brilliant since then. And the manager Graham Potter's obviously got his trust in him to, keep performing and being the number one. Mendy hasn't been that great this season. There's been a lot of question marks over, him distribution wise, messing about with the ball at his feet, cost us a couple of goals. Look, Kepa's been great over the past few games, and if he keeps up the performances, then keep him in as number one, because he's surprising everybody and he's doing really well, keeping clean sheets. That's what you want from a goalkeeper. I still think Mendy is the better goalkeeper. I still think, Mendy I would probably have over Kepa in goal, but I mean, I can't say anything at the moment because Kepa is on really good form, making great saves. So that's, if he keeps doing that well, then he has to stay in goal, doesn't he? Exactly.
Before we go on to the next game, I'm going to ask Lee, because I do not know the reason for this. Why did Arsenal and City get postponed this week?
Right. So basically, when the Queen died, all the fixtures got postponed. But Arsenal's Europa League game against PSV got postponed. So this was the only Thursday before the World Cup that they could play it without forfeiting it. So they postponed City Arsenal.
That makes sense.
Bastards, man.
Yeah.
Bastards.
That does make sense, though.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up. Inside
Yep.
knowledge from Lee Eccles. So the next game, Liverpool West Ham. Liverpool won 1-0. Talk about another great goalkeeper in form, Alisson. What a season he's having this year. Bloody hell. Made a great penalty save for from Bowen.
Yeah.
Did either of you two watch the game at all? Or-
Yeah, I've turned it on when the penalty was given. We got very excited, and
Yeah.
then he missed. So, but to be honest, right, I think Liverpool. What I got from the first half was that I didn't watch the first half, but what my mate was telling me is that Liverpool actually played quite well in the first half and probably should have been more than 1-0. But then in the second half, West Ham were probably the better side. Obviously they had the penalty just before half time, but then they had a massive chance where Milner's just blocked it and then it's just pinged off Alisson's foot. He's not known anything about it and gone out for a corner. It's like West Ham had many chances. Like they had the chances to probably get a point from the game, maybe even win the game, but it just wasn't to be, and Liverpool got away with it. But that's what they
Do
seem to be doing at the moment.
Do you reckon the West Ham striker curse is going to continue? A bit like Chelsea's striker curse with the number 9 shirt. Obviously, they've brought in Skamaka for big money. It's not their only striker they've brought in, but do you reckon he's gonna? You'd have hoped. Did he start? Did he play on?
He did play. He did start. Um,
Yeah. How did he get on? Was he one of the people missing big chances then?
he was all right. Like he linked up quite well, but there was one chance where he had it. He just took a touch out of his feet, and he tried swatting it, and he just sliced it fucking so far wide. I just couldn't stop laughing at it. But yeah, he screams to me he'll score like 8 goals a season. Like he'll
Not
probably
great,
be
is
pretty
it?
decent.
8 goals for
Nah,
a main striker.
yeah, but I think he'll be all right. I think he's got. Is it one in the league and he's got a few in the Europa League?
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think he'll do all right.
Moving on to the 7th big team, the 7th biggest team in the league, Newcastle United v Everton. I don't actually think that, but they're going to become part of the big 6, aren't they? Newcastle. So we're going to call them the big 7 now. Yeah, Newcastle beat Everton 1-0. Almiron scored a worldie. Jack Grealish must be hating life right now. Saying, "Oh, you play like Almiron." Nah, but good result for Eddie Howe and Newcastle. Everton, another loss. You know, I think they played Tottenham, United, Newcastle. Obviously, against United, you would have maybe hoped they would have got something out of that game because it's at Goodison. But I don't know, Darius, how do you think Lampard's doing there?
I mean, all right is probably the best you could say. I think Everton fans probably wish that they were in that position where Newcastle are, being that 7th biggest team, you could say, in the Premier League. And obviously Newcastle have got the backing, the money, and they've been really good, over the past few games. Newcastle have been very good, and obviously on the other hand, Everton haven't been. I mean, I could potentially see them again in and around that sort of bottom 5, 6 again, scrapping it out towards the end of the season. That they lack sort of quality in them attacking areas. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's, I think he came back. Was he fit for that game? I'm sure he played.
He come off the bench against United.
I think
I don't know.
I think he did feature. I think he did feature in the game, but
he started, played 73
yeah,
minutes, got booked.
But it's just, I think it's just inconsistencies with Everton and the lack of quality in their team that's sort of stopping them from being competing anywhere sort of in the top half of the table. That the owners probably will be disappointed, so will the fans, because they've spent a lot of money over the years.
And they
And
just fucking hell.
a lot of money,
A lot
and
of money.
it's not really worked out for them at all. And yeah, I think it could be another struggle for them this season. Don't be surprised if Lampard gets sacked within the next maybe couple of months.
Really?
If it's get worse, yeah, I could see it happening. But that Everton are one of these teams that it's like you don't really know really what to say apart from that they should be doing better and they're not. For the team that they are, the club that they are, they're not doing as well as what they should be doing, and it's well, a bit of a difficult situation for them.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry, Lee.
No, I was going to say I'm just looking at the next 5 fixtures for Everton.
Not
They've
good.
got Palace at home, Fulham away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, and Wolves at home. So you've got to think
They've got to be picking up points in
they've
that.
got to be picking
That's
up points
crucial.
there, and 4 of them are before the World Cup. So if they can get from them 4 games, if they can get like 6 or 7 points from them, that would be a good start to try and get there a bit further up the table, away from a precarious position.
Moving on to last night's main event, calling it the main event because it was on latest. Man United Tottenham. United were bloody fantastic, I thought.
They were.
But then saying that, I thought Tottenham were quite poor last night. They shit the bed really. To put it frank. Everything United done well, Tottenham didn't. The pressing, the high pressing. Lloris was bloody world class in that game. He's done well to keep it at 2-0. Yeah, interesting one. What are your guys' thoughts on that game? If you watched it, Lee, can't hear you.
I watched it after the Liverpool game finished. And yeah, Man United were quite good, but yeah, Tottenham they were a bit toothless up front, and they don't seem. I said it, I think either on last week or the week before, like away from home, they
Yeah,
don't
you
seem
did.
to be playing that
Free
well.
flowing attacking football. Yeah.
And also I saw a stat that the only teams they've beaten are in the bottom half of the table so far this season. They're not turning up when there's a bit of a challenge.
Dara, sorry. So I'm just gonna say what I think. Sorry if you was gonna say something.
No.
I think Tottenham should stick with Conte, and I don't think it'll be their choice to get rid of him. But Conte needs to take some responsibility. I know he likes playing the defensive football, but when you're 2-0 down with 15 minutes to go and you're still playing with Basuma, Bentancur, and Højbjerg in the middle, and then you bring on who did he brought? He brought on Lucas in the middle, and he brought on was it Sessegnon for
Sessegnon,
Doherty,
Lucas, and Sanchez, didn't he?
Yeah, Sanchez, that was it. And I'm thinking, you've got Brian Hill, or should I say Howard from The Big Bang Theory, sat on the bench. He's an attacker. He done well against who did they play in the championship for Frankfurt, wasn't it? He had a small cameo in that. He won him a penalty. He looked decent, but obviously away at Old Trafford, it's a different game. But why not give the lad a go? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Lee, I think you're right. With Tottenham's away record, it's so poor this season. I think that there's been reports that Bonucci is being linked with Tottenham in January. And my personal point of view, don't see that as a smart transfer on Tottenham's behalf. He shit the bed at AC Milan when he left Chiellini's side. Had to move back to Chiellini's side to Juventus. had to hold his hand. Now Chiellini's gone to America. He's shit in the bed again. Like, why make that transfer? But who knows?
I think it's because sporting director at Tottenham, I think, is Paratici, isn't he? He's obviously been at Juventus. There'll be names that are linked from, and to be honest with you, Juventus aren't doing that well either.
That's what I mean. Why sign it? Oh,
it doesn't make any sense. But Conte likes the Italian players, obviously players from the Serie A that he's worked with. I don't think it will happen, but this sort of season, Conte's given me the same sort of vibe as the second season at Chelsea, where it was a little bit underwhelming in a sense that he keeps on defensive players for too long. He doesn't make substitutions, when you need to make substitutions. He waits a long time. It's a bit dull and a bit boring the way that they're playing. Similarly with Chelsea in that second season, and he lost his job at the end of the season in that second year with Chelsea, even though he won an FA Cup at the end of it. But it's one of these things where they've not. I said it even last week and a couple of weeks ago on the podcast that Tottenham, have been lucky to get some results because they haven't performed that well in that many games. That, especially what Lee was saying, away from home, they have not been good this season. And I think Conte said something today that Tottenham are not title contenders. A lot of people thought they could try and challenge at the start of the season, and he sort of ruled that out completely now. So it's sort of like, where do you go from here? Because they need to be winning silverware. Maybe not the Premier League. That might be way too big of a jump for them now, but silverware has to be a priority. And it looks like they're falling into the same sort of things that they do every season. And they sort of go down as the team that again bottles it, or the team that should be trying to go and win titles or win trophies, do that, and they just don't have it in them, which is disappointing.
I think just to end on 2 points that you said. Obviously, you said it reminds you a lot of the second season at Chelsea, but you did win the FA Cup, and I think Spurs fans will put up with that as long as they win a cup competition.
Exactly. But I can't even see him winning one at the moment. I mean, who knows when the way the season, you don't know. But at the moment, with the way that United dominated that game, I can't see it.
Secondly, obviously you said Conte come out, I think today or yesterday, saying that they're not title contenders. I mean, he said that at the start of the season. He said that, I think I said it last week. Conte said that they need at least 2 more transfer windows to be competing with top teams in the league, and he pretty much said that last night as well. So I think it was more media and the fans getting overhyped after a few good games. But, I think Conte's realistic. He knew the job when he took it. So, yeah, we shall see. And going on to today, shall we say? English words speak. Come on. Fulham are 2-0 up against Villa. Yep. Stevie G's got to be shit in the bed now. I keep on saying shit in the bed tonight, and I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, Mitro scored a penalty. Harrison Reed scored. And then Douglas Luiz got sent off, and I think that must have been for the penalty.
No, it was 6 minutes before, so it's fucking long VAR. All that.
There's only 10 minutes left to go in that game currently with added on time. So yeah, doesn't look good for Villa at all.
And Leicester have scored again as well.
Leicester are 2 half time.
Harvey Barnes.
Quality player.
Big Brendan.
I do actually like Harvey.
He's a quality player.
He's all right, isn't he?
They've got good players, Leicester. That's the thing. It's quite surprising to see that they're near the bottom like they are. They've got some, very talented players. Good, decent squad.
Yeah, but I reckon you could do a better job in goal, Darius, than Danny Ward. I'm joking.
It's
every week, Danny. I'm sorry you watched the pod, mate.
I don't know. Maybe
it's out of you.
maybe Leicester. You're listening to this.
Say you're
Sign me up.
Welsh. You'll get in. You start the World Cup, mate.
Oh,
Yeah, Leicester, like you said, 2-0 up. It'll be big result for Brendan, won't it? It'd come out after the game. Always show great character. Really. Jesse Marsh, obviously 2-0 down. He must be giving them a real rollicking out there. Not as good as the Brendan accent, is it? Really?
what?
He's starting Bamford, bro. He's starting Bamford. Captain's in as well. Rascal. Fucking Bamford.
Lost 4 out of the last 5 if they lose tonight. They say they started the season so well.
Yeah.
Apparently they've been playing well though. At Palace they didn't play that bad, did they? I don't think they lost 2-1, didn't they?
They definitely weren't the better team. Palace was certainly the better team over the course of the 90 minutes. They didn't play badly, but Palace was definitely better. That Palace
didn't play badly against Arsenal either. I mean, they're a bit unlucky to
exactly
lose 1-0.
A lot didn't go their way. But
Bamford missed a penalty.
Yeah, we did.
Is the pressure mounting on Jesse Marsh? Obviously, they sacked their beloved Bielsa. Are they going to sack Marsh, do you reckon?
Oh.
It's a tough one because you look at the teams that have sacked the managers. You look at Wolves. You look at Nottingham Forest. Not Nottingham Forest. Bournemouth, sorry.
They leave my guy Steve Cooper alone, bro.
Bournemouth that have sacked the manager, and they haven't found anyone to replace him.
No.
So, who do you get?
Oh, come on. Up at Leeds, you'll get Sam Allardyce easily. You get Neil Warnock back at Leeds. Oh, that's a big northern club, isn't it? Bloody hell.
Oh.
You'll get some old relic wanting to go there. Honestly. Yeah, so that's as it stands at the minute. Should we look at the weekend's games?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fulham have made it 3-0, by the way, guys.
You're joking.
Fulham have just made it 3-0.
Hey.
I'll tell you.
Stevie, what's going on? Stevie.
Who scored? Is it Mitro again?
Fucking good games on this weekend, isn't there? Sorry, excuse my language.
Tyrone Mings' own goal. Brad will
That
not
sums
be happy.
him up, don't it?
Brad will not be happy.
Brad won't be happy. Graham Souness will be in his chair laughing. Oh, bloody hell. Tyrone. Mad. It's mad, isn't it? Imagine if he gets to see it on a plane. Imagine. You see 55-man squad. Provisional.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah.
He needs to put his bollocks on the. Yeah, but he needs to put his bollocks on a line, don't he? And be like, right, this is what I'm going with. They're all out of form, but I'm still taking them. He's only doing it just so he's going to do it so he don't get stick from Maguire going straight in. It's going to give Maguire a week to fucking perform.
No, it's actually gone down as a Conser own goal, not Tyrone Mings.
Oh.
So they had it down as Tyrone Mings' own goal. Now they've changed it to Conser.
Oh, well. Mings, what a great player, isn't he? I mean, so looking at Saturday, we have Nottingham Forest v Liverpool at Nottingham Forest. Like we said, it's going to be a tough few weeks for Forest. Got to be a Liverpool win, innit?
Yeah.
Or do we reckon a Forest upset?
Nah, I think it'll be 3-0 Liverpool. I think
Darwin Nunez
Tottenham
get a hat
even
trick.
went to Forest once, so I think Liverpool will win that one.
Darius, you in agreement?
I'll go 2-1 Liverpool. I think at Forest, Forest will give them a good game.
Who's going to score for Forest?
Don't know,
Jay Lings.
But like we were saying before, though, if Nottingham Forest are going to pick up any points this season, they're more likely to do it when they're at home. It's a bit of a iconic game, Forest Liverpool.
Yeah, that's a proper old game, isn't it? That
old game, yeah.
Silent all game. It'd be silent all game because they can't sing "Where's Your European Cup."
Yeah, and they'll say, well, it's not a big team. We won't make a lot of atmosphere for it. Sorry. Everton v Crystal Palace at Goodison. As we've mentioned, what we're saying, guys, are we going for a Palace dub, Everton dub, or a draw?
It was an interesting game last season, wasn't it? When Everton came from 2-0 down.
Did they?
Yeah, to win 3-2. It was when they invaded the pitch and Vieira got.
Oh, yeah.
And
that
was that game. But Crystal Palace have been playing really well, so I could see Palace winning away at Everton.
I'll go with the draw. Seems like a typical draw to me.
I'm going to go for 1-0 Everton. I think they're going to scrape it.
1-1.
City Brighton. Lee, you must be feeling confident about this game. You know, you've had a full week's rest.
Well, I think I'm really annoyed that we didn't get to play Arsenal because I think it'd be one of them things. We just lost away at Liverpool, so we'd be really angry and we'd play really well because that's what usually happens when we lose a game and lose our heads a bit. Like the next game, we usually go and batter whoever we're playing. So yeah, I'm not sure. De Zerbi will get his first point on Saturday. So yeah, I'd say a City win.
City win as well. It's got to be in it, Paris.
City win.
Danny Welbeck to get a hat trick. That's Lee's worst nightmare, that is.
Yeah.
Big game for you, Darius. You're the main event on Saturday. Chelsea v Man United.
Yep.
Obviously, United are in great form. You guys aren't doing too bad at the minute either. How are you going to see this one? It's going to go.
I mean, United have done very well against top 6 opposition this season. You know, beating Liverpool, they've beat Spurs, beat Arsenal. Obviously lost to City. I mean, they don't really have the best record against us at Stamford Bridge. So I'm quietly confident. You know, I think we'll win at home. Obviously, Ronaldo's not going to be at that game for United. He's not going to be travelling with them after what he, did at the
yesterday. Yeah. Do you know what? It'd be him all over, right? You pan the cameras to see Todd Boehly. Is it Todd Boehly or Ted Boehly?
Todd Boehly.
Todd Boehly, yeah. You see Todd Boehly, and the next to him, it'll be Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, hey guys, got a new signing for us. And it'll be Ronaldo. You can see it happening. It's going to happen.
Well, I heard there was a rumour going round that something was like the reason Tuchel got sacked was because they wanted to have Ronaldo at Chelsea, and he didn't want that. That's only a rumour, though. I don't know whether that's true. But I'll go with 2-1 to Chelsea. I think it'll be a tough game. United look good, but I think we can control possession over them in the game. And we do need to bounce back from a disappointing 0-0 draw with Brentford, and be a good time to do it against United. So I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Lee?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll say Chelsea at home. But no, yeah, I'll go Chelsea at home, probably 1-0. I'd say. I think it might be one of them games where United, where
Capitulate.
Ten Hag, I think he's got it wrong in a few games this season, and I think Graham Potter might have his number on Saturday.
Well, he beat him 4-0 already, didn't he?
He did.
He did.
No, he
With
beat
Brighton.
2-1, wasn't it?
I thought it was 4-0 with
Brentford
Brighton. Was it?
Brentford beat him 4-0.
It was Brentford, Will, that beat him 4-0. Yeah.
I swear Brighton smashed them 4-0 as well.
He beat
Yeah,
him at
but
Old Trafford 2-1.
But that weren't Ten Hag, though.
Oh, that was last year.
Was it last year, was it? Oh,
That was last season. That weren't Ten Hag, though, in charge.
I thought it was. Oh, my bad. Do you know what? I think it's going to be 2-2. You know, Mason Mount's coming into some great form at the minute.
Yep.
I'd like to see what he could do. Yeah, going to go 2-2 draw. Villa v Brentford. By this time on Sunday, Villa might have a new manager.
Well, maybe
Or
a caretaker.
caretaker manager.
Pochettino.
Don't say that. That'd destroy me. That would.
I feel like Villa are another one of these underwhelming teams that they've got some really good quality players in their side. They've spent quite a lot of money, and it's just not working out for them, is it? Coutinho, they've signed that Kamara guy from Marseille, looked pretty good. They've got some quality players in their team, they just. I don't know with Villa. It's weird. It's a weird one. They're not performing as well as what they could. So I can see Brentford winning again, if I'm being honest, and Villa losing another game.
Lee, you the same? You reckon?
Yeah, I think Brentford will have that. And where did you get the source saying Ezri Konsa scored an own goal?
I don't know. It came up.
Everything I'm looking at says Tyrone
Mings. Well,
Yeah.
it came up on my phone as Tyrone Mings' own goal, and then there's another app that I have that flashes up live score updates, and it literally just said Ezri Konsa own goal. So I thought, oh, it must be a thing, and then I obviously went back on to see, and it's it's Mings. So I don't know. The app. I blame the app. Don't blame me.
Is it a dodgy app? Did they get Mings and Conta confused, you reckon? It must be a dodgy app you've got.
It's not good, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with a Ivan Toney hat trick. Yeah, solid win for Brentford. I say that it's at Villa Park.
Yeah, you did say that when we were talking about the fixtures last time, Will.
Who did they play? Who did they play again?
They played us at Villa Park.
Oh yeah,
Chelsea.
and you won 2-0, didn't you?
And you said, I can see Villa
But
getting.
they played quite well, didn't they?
Yeah, they played well.
Kev had a man of match performance.
Yeah, he did, but they need that sort of the crowd on their side. They need to bounce back, and they didn't do it then, and I don't see him doing it this weekend either.
Oh, you know what? Scratch Ivan Toney. We're going to go for a Tyrone Mings hat trick. We're going to go for an Aston Villa win. Bollocks to it. Leeds v Fulham. Wait, yeah. Sorry. Who's Fulham playing now? Leeds?
Villa.
Villa.
Yeah. It's all getting confusing, this. Who said start a podcast?
You.
Leeds v Fulham at Ellen Road. I'm going to go for a Leeds win. What are you guys going for?
I think Fulham have been playing very well, but I think Leeds will scrape a point. They've not been playing well, but the Ellen Road crowd, 1-1 draw.
I'll go with Fulham, 2-1.
Yeah. I want to hear Jesse Marsh say, "Yeah, we're playing against Fulham."
Oh well.
The first game on Sky on Sunday. Here we are, Sky. Free promotion. Get us on your socials and that. We'll take over, mate. Southampton v Arsenal. Arsenal dub, surely. Got to be in it.
Yeah, you probably got to think so. It feels like Ralph Hasenhutl's been getting sacked for like since the start of the season.
Yes.
Because when the season first started, it came out that apparently all the players thought he was going to get sacked, and then he rocked up to pre-season training. And then it always seems like they've got someone lined up, or it says they've got someone lined up, or they're looking for someone. And every time they lose, they're like, "Oh, they're going to sack him now." And we're 11 games in, and he's still got a job. So who knows?
Mental, innit? It's mental. Harris, what you saying?
Yeah,
Arsenal dub,
obviously, I don't want Arsenal to win, but I think they will. I think they will quite comfortably.
We've got Wolves v Leicester. Bit of a derby again, Darius, is it? Like Forest Wolves was. Is it similar? Not really a derby, but they're sort of close, so who knows?
Well, obviously Leicester Forest, yeah, that's a proper derby.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sort of outskirts of the West
Okay.
against East Midlands. Yeah.
What we saying?
I'll go with the Leicester win. I don't know. I can see a Leicester win.
I could see a draw between the two teams.
Me and Lee are on the same wavelength here. Yeah, draw as well. Main event on Sunday, Tottenham v Newcastle. Tottenham have been great at home, but Newcastle are in great form at the minute.
They are.
We're going to say, I am going to go with a draw again, sitting on the fence.
I was going to go for a draw, but now I think I'll go for a Newcastle win, actually. Because Tottenham looked great against Man United. And Newcastle, they've only lost once this season, so it doesn't... they got a draw against City, didn't they? And
That was at St James's Way, wasn't it?
And the only loss they had was Liverpool away, when arguably I think they should have won. So I think Newcastle could beat Tottenham, turn them over.
I'll go with the Newcastle win as well.
Ooh. And then last but not least, the best game of the weekend, West Ham United v Bournemouth on Monday. Woohoo. What are we saying? West Ham win, draw, Bournemouth win. What way are we going to go? We're going to do the, what's his face's? Tony Adams. You see Strictly Come Dancing, his first routine. He done the thing he done in training in Spain. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
With this one, because it's at the London's, under the lights at the London Stadium, late kick-off Monday night. I think West Ham 2-0. I think.
Yeah.
I'll go with the West as well. West Ham win.
We're all agreed on that one. Bloody hell. Let's go, team. Let's go. Woo! I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy to finish up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to episode number 4 of the Goalpost Podcast. Hopefully it'll be up soon. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.